Don't get me wrong. I love being single and I love living alone. It's great. It's fantastic. But fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm gonna be all puffy. Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
Hey guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews. And still nothing. Like, what the fuck is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. Bullshit. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working our asses off for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
My husband is 26 years old and he has a heart condition. And tomorrow he has an appointment that he is refusing to go to. And I'm doing my best to convince him. But the reason why is because we're still paying out of pocket, making payments on his last appointment that was almost a year ago. And we can't afford another $2,400 bill. On top of that, our vehicles are all falling apart. My Chevy has a blown motor. Our little Ranger, which doesn't fit our family, is literally being held together with a shoelace and some zip ties. And our Jeep is also barely being held together. In fact, the passenger or the driver door doesn't close all the way, and we can't afford to fix that. We had to go in again today and use calculators to get groceries. And it's just, that's living in America right now. And it's so frustrating.
America is not what it once was. I've got some bad news for people who don't travel internationally. The world hates us. okay? We're not the big dogs. We don't have the clout that we once had. We aren't even like statistically on top of anything, education or anything anymore. And I've traveled a lot internationally. Over COVID, obviously, I stopped. And there's always been an underlying tone that America is dangerous. But, you know, we run Hollywood, so a lot of the media that is consumed by people in other countries is still American. However, I'm on my first international trip since COVID, and it has gotten worse. I have heard from every nationality that America is dangerous, but I arrived in Indonesia, which is a country that, you know, a lot of people aim to get out of and go to America. And the first thing that my taxi driver says to me is that he's afraid of America because of all the poppy seeds that we're taking and all the jazz powder that people are using. And he's convinced that people are walking around the US like zombies, because that's what's on the internet. That's what these people are seeing. And I think it's a really big lesson if you are sheltered and are not leaving the US. We don't got it. Like, we don't got it anymore. People don't want to live in America. People aren't eager to live in America. When I was in Europe, a lot of the kids said their parents wouldn't let them go to America because they were afraid they were going to get popped by the police. Like, those are the fears. The only fear that Americans have when their children travel overseas is that they're going to be, like in the movie Taken, which is a very small possibility. And they just use that as a fear. I don't even, like, that's not really even a founded fear. People aren't taking Americans when we go, because you know how big of a hell case they would raise if some little white girl went missing? That's not what's happening. But what is happening is other people from other nations are going to America and bad things are happening to them. So, just a reminder, we ain't shit. We ain't shit.
I would like to apologize to the Americans, okay? On behalf of each and every foreigner that has ever looked at the US and been like, that looks easy, I could do that. America is easy. I would like to apologize to the Americans. Because, child, America is not easy. As a single woman, as a single foreigner coming on her 10th year of living in this country, child, is not easy. Stay in your home country. As someone who owns property in the US, as someone who has a good job in the US, as someone who like started a business in the US, America is not easy. When those bills start hitting you, child, like the bills hit me this morning and I was just like, I'm done. I'm ready to go back home. Put me back on the first flight back to my home country because I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. I just can't. Like this morning, I had to pay like up to $600 just in like tolls and parking tickets and parking violations. Like, child, I can't just drive my car in this country. Like, I can't just drive my car. That's not enough. And then don't talk about the property taxes. The property taxes are killing me, child. The property taxes, the income taxes, the health insurance. It is expensive to live in America. Like, I don't know how Americans do it. I just don't.
I don't want to live here anymore. I live in America, and the sense of dread that I feel living here for the next 30, 40 years is so bad, you guys. Let me just give you a little peek into my world. So 5 years ago, me and my husband bought our home. Okay, we bought our home on my 22nd birthday. Our home at the time was valued at $130,000 by the county. Now, mind you, we did not pay this much for our home. I wish we did, but we did not. 5 years later, we just looked. Our home is valued at $248,000 5 years later. Last year, our home appraised at $161,000. If we were to try to buy a home now, I don't think that we would be able to do it. 5 years ago, all they told you was you needed good credit and $10,000 saved up. That was more attainable 5 years ago for a couple of early 20-year-olds than it would be for two people dual income in our mid-20s right now. At the time, me and my husband were making really good money. I mean, for two people that don't have college degrees, we were making well over $100,000 a year. And in the South, specifically Texas, that use took a stretch. Nowadays, it literally doesn't mean anything. Like, groceries are too high. The cost of living is too high. The housing crisis is out of control. People move. It's bad. It's bad, you guys. It's getting bad, and it's getting worse and worse by the year, no matter who's elected president. We were not put on this earth to work 70 plus hours a week, not be able to spend time with our families. We were put on this earth to consume art, have community, try new foods, new cultures, travel. We did everything that they tell us you're supposed to do. We went to college. Now, do we have degrees? No. We went to college. We saved up the money. We worked really hard. We bought the house. People base their whole self-worth off of their work ethic. I'm not one of those people. Even if you say, oh, you've done this and this and look at all the things you've acquired, I don't care. I can't even imagine people that stay at their job 30, 40 years. Kudos to you. It's really hard for people, and I think especially my generation, to just see us doing the same thing for the next 30 years. And for what? I don't know what we're supposed to do. People my age. Is this it? Is this what we do? Forever? Nah. I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to do this. And I'm not saying that there's somewhere better and there's a utopia that you don't have to work. But I think that there has to be somewhere that it's beneficial for the amount that you work. Fun. People will say, well, what are you going to do when you're older? How are you going to retire? I don't know. But I know that I'm going to enjoy every day and I'm going to be happy every single day.
I don't even know how to start this because I don't know how to fucking explain it. How do you explain the complexity of like the immigration system to someone who is like a natural born citizen who literally has never had to worry about being snubbed of opportunities? For other people who they lack that, like the nationality, not being a US citizen or resident, like missing out on so many opportunities just because of your nationality. It's so hard to like explain to some people who have never had to experience that kind of stress, and it makes me so sad that it's not talked about. I have come across so many different type of videos in my For You page, but I have never ever once like seen like an F1 OPT like struggles kind of thing. Basically right now I'm in a company that not only do they not want to sponsor me, which like fine, they're not giving me opportunities to grow because they don't want to like commit to me. They don't want to like invest in me. And like it's been told to my face that like unless like something in my status changes, but it's like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, what can I do about it, dude?
My immigrant mother just called me on the phone innocently asking me if she should start carrying her passport in case they start doing mass DNA to prove that she's a citizen. That's so sad.
In case you've ever wondered what it's like to live in America, I'm going to tell you a little story. My son was 1 year old at the time. A couple of months ago, I took him to the hospital via ambulance because we woke up in the middle of the night and he was having a seizure. The doctors really didn't do that much for him. They gave him, like, it helped him a lot. I don't want to negate that, but the stuff that they gave him was not expensive. There was a very little amount of time even given to him. They gave him a bag of saline. They gave him acetaminophen. They gave him another drug. None of it was anything wild or like rare or overly expensive. I have insurance. My husband works full time for the government of the United States of America. And this is the fucking bill that I got after insurance. I just opened this bill. More than $2,000 they want because we spent a few hours at the hospital getting saline.